The systems meant to protect us are run by humans, and humans make mistakes. Even the most well-intentioned institutions can falter, and sometimes the consequences are devastating. We trust these systems for justice, but what if the official story doesn't add up? What if the answers we're given don't quite fit the facts, leaving us with more questions than comfort? For most, challenging authority feels impossible. The weight of tradition and power can silence even the most reasonable doubts. But sometimes, all it takes is one persistent question. A single voice, refusing to be quieted, can echo through the halls of power. Change often starts quietly, with someone who refuses to accept an answer that defies logic. It begins with doubt and grows into determination. This is the story of May Han, an ordinary woman whose single question exposed a fatal flaw in a death investigation. Her journey would challenge everything she thought she knew. Behind every case file are real lives, deserving of the full truth. Every document, every piece of evidence, represents someone's world turned upside down. This isn't just one family's tragedy, it's a lesson for us all. Details matter. The smallest oversight can change the course of many lives. In a busy morgue or rushed investigation, the smallest clue can be overlooked. The truth can hide in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice. Our work in forensic pathology is a sacred duty to the living and the dead. We owe it to every family to seek answers, no matter how difficult. May Han's courage reminds us, the path to justice is rarely straight, and it takes unwavering belief to walk it. Her persistence became a beacon for others. She wasn't a detective or scientist, just a sister who knew her brother's story was incomplete. Her love for him fueled her search for answers. Her fight proves that one voice, armed with a simple question, can change everything. Sometimes, the greatest power lies in refusing to give up. The pursuit of truth, fueled by love, is the most powerful force for change. It can bring light to the darkest places. This is how a single question can move mountains and inspire hope where there was once only doubt. Victor Han was a vibrant architect, deeply devoted to his family, especially his younger sister, May. He was the kind of brother who always made time for her, whether it was helping with homework or sharing quiet moments after a long day. His laughter filled their home, and his steady presence was a source of comfort for everyone who knew him. When Victor died suddenly at 34, May's world shattered. The news came like a bolt from the blue, leaving her numb and lost in a sea of grief. The official report, an accidental fall down the stairs, blunt force trauma to the head, seemed so final, so clinical. It offered no comfort, only more questions. The police closed the case, urging the family to grieve and move on, assuring them that everything had been thoroughly investigated. But May couldn't accept it. She knew her brother, cautious, coordinated, not prone to accidents or careless mistakes. The explanation didn't fit the man she loved.
I started asking questions, first to the police, then to the medical examiner. I wanted to see the evidence for myself, to understand every detail of what happened that night.
Each time, she was dismissed. The case was closed, the findings clear, they said. There was nothing more to discuss.
They told me I was in denial, that grief was clouding my judgment, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong.
But May's persistence came from knowing her brother, not denial. She trusted her instincts, even when others doubted her. The more she was told to let go, the more convinced she became that something was missed. Some detail overlooked, some truth left hidden.
I wasn't looking for someone to blame, I just wanted the truth. My brother deserved that, and so did I.
May's quiet inquiries became a relentless quest. Night after night, she pored over documents, searching for answers that no one else seemed to want. She refused to let her brother's memory be defined by a story she couldn't believe. Her love for Victor fueled her determination. She owed Victor clarity. His life was precise, and his death deserved the same careful attention. She would not rest until she found it. Sometimes, justice begins with a single, stubborn doubt, a refusal to accept the easy answer. May's journey was just beginning, and she was determined to uncover the truth, no matter where it led. After weeks of persistence, May finally accessed Victor's case file, reports, diagrams, and autopsy photos. The images were hard to face, but she searched for the inconsistency she felt in her bones. Most photos showed the head injury, but one stopped her, a close-up of Victor's lower back. A large, dark, geometric bruise. Not random, but patterned. Like an impression, not a fall.
This wasn't background noise. The pattern haunted me. Why would a fall leave a mark like this?
The official report noted the bruise but dismissed it as part of the fall. But this mark was organized, specific. A clue misinterpreted.
I knew I wasn't a forensic expert, but this needed a better explanation.
This single photo became the focal point of May's quest. It was no longer just a gut feeling, it was a tangible mystery.
This photo was the key.
May made a copy and searched for someone who could see what others had missed. The truth was hidden in plain sight. May found a retired forensic pathologist and showed him the photo. He explained, the timing of a bruise, before or after death, changes everything.
A true bruise forms only when the heart is pumping. Ante-mortem injuries show blood forced deep into tissue. Post-mortem marks do not. Under a microscope, ante-mortem bruises show red blood cells and signs of healing. Post-mortem marks lack this.
The pathologist suspected Victor's bruise was ante-mortem, formed while he was alive. The deep color and defined edges suggested forceful contact before the fatal fall. This observation shattered the official narrative. A fall is chaotic. A patterned ante-mortem injury suggests deliberate action.
This wasn't just an accident. It could be evidence of a violent struggle.
The case was no longer simple. The truth demanded a second look. May's question had changed everything.
To understand Victor's bruise, you need two concepts, contusion and livor mortis. A contusion is a bruise, blood forced into tissue by trauma while alive. The body's response, white blood cells, inflammation, proves the injury happened before death. Livor mortis, or lividity, is post-mortem. Blood settles by gravity after the heart stops, causing purplish discoloration. Lividity is diffuse, pooling in the lowest points, and remains within blood vessels. Pressing on early lividity blanches the skin. A bruise does not. Incising lividity releases pooled blood. A bruise reveals stained tissue. The initial examiners likely mistook Victor's patterned mark for lividity. But a patterned bruise is a fingerprint of force, a clue, not a coincidence. The only way to know for sure was to re-examine Victor's preserved tissue samples.
Science would decide if the mark was a bruise or lividity. The answer could rewrite the story of Victor's death. May's persistence set the stage for the truth.
With the expert's opinion, I had more than a gut feeling. I had science.
Reopening a closed case is daunting. It means admitting a possible mistake.
I hired a lawyer and petitioned the district attorney to re-examine the evidence.
The petition included my account, the pathologist's affidavit, and a request to review Victor's tissue samples.
The DA hesitated, but the scientific argument was hard to ignore.
I spoke to the media, framing my fight as a search for truth, not blame.
Public interest grew. After weeks, the DA agreed to reopen the case.
A special review board and independent pathologist were appointed.
Most importantly, the preserved tissue samples would be re-examined. For May, this was a breakthrough. The doors were finally opening. The evidence would get a second chance to speak. Justice was within reach. The re-examination confirmed the pathologist's suspicions. Under the microscope, Victor's bruise showed blood forced deep into tissue and early inflammation. Proof it happened while he was alive.
This was the smoking gun. The case was now a homicide investigation.
Detectives reopened the scene, re-interviewed witnesses, and found Victor had a dispute with a business associate. The associate owned boots with a unique tread pattern.
The tread matched the bruise on Victor's back, a stomp mark.
In court, the forensic evidence was irrefutable.
I explained the science to the jury, showing the bruise and the boot sole side by side. The patterns were identical.
The defense argued coincidence, but the evidence was too strong.
The jury returned a guilty verdict. Justice for Victor Hahn was served, not by confession, but by science and a sister's love. May's question had become a revolution. The truth had prevailed. One detail changed everything. Victor Hahn's case shook the forensic community, exposing how easily a homicide can be mistaken for an accident.
The case showed that even obvious signs of assault can be missed by overworked examiners.
The state's medical examiner board overhauled its protocols.
The Hahn Protocol was born, mandating full-body exams for patterned injuries in falls and requiring microscopic analysis of unusual bruising.
Retraining programs were launched, with Victor's case at the center.
Trainees learned to value details and never settle for easy answers. The case taught that evidence, not assumptions, must guide every investigation.
The impact extended to law enforcement, who learned to spot subtle signs of staged scenes.
Police were trained to document evidence of struggle, even in apparent accidents. Victor Han's legacy was a stronger, more accountable system. May's fight fortified the foundations of death investigation. Future victims would have a better chance at justice. One case changed the rules for all.
Victor and Mayhan's story proves that one person's courage can change the world. Their journey reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, a single voice can echo far beyond what we imagine.
I was just a sister, but my refusal to accept an incomplete truth made all the difference. I never expected to become an advocate, but I couldn't let my brother's story end in silence.
May's persistence is a lesson in the power of details. Every late night, every highlighted line, every unanswered question brought her closer to the truth.
In forensic science, the truth is often hidden in the smallest clue: a patterned bruise, a microscopic slide, a boot's tread. Each piece of evidence is a voice waiting to be heard, a story waiting to be told.
For every case, we must honor the details of a life. Behind every file and every report is a person, a family, and a legacy that deserves respect.
My fight for Victor was for a more compassionate, careful system. I wanted to make sure no other family would have to endure the same pain and uncertainty. It showed that justice means finding the truth with empathy and precision. True justice is not just about facts, but about understanding the people behind them. When the system fails, it must be willing to listen and correct itself. Change begins when we acknowledge mistakes and strive to do better.
May's journey forced the system to improve, protecting countless others. Her determination set a new standard for accountability and care.
My love for my brother made the system see him as a person, not a case number. His memory became a catalyst for change, and I carry that with me every day. My story is a call to action. Be vigilant, ask questions, believe in your power to make a difference. Stand up for those who cannot speak for themselves. One voice can challenge an empire. One act of courage can inspire a movement. One detail can reveal the truth. Every overlooked fact is a chance to bring justice closer, and one sister's love can start a revolution. Let us never underestimate the power of a single heart determined to seek justice.